I'm here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. The Air Force interest in this problem, flying saucer, has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States.
It was roughly built around that time, so the bridge was specially built for ferrying the men back and forth the River Usk. Before we had the bridge, they would take them over on little boats. Obviously, being the second fastest tide in the world, the River Usk and the Bristol Channel, obviously we have problems of the water coming in and going out so quickly through the day and through the night. Obviously, then the boat could only run back and forth when the tide was up or halfway out. Obviously, when the tide used to go out, they used to walk through the mud as they were going back and forth the river. It wasn't very good to go to work full of mud.
Well, I passed this bridge many times and always wanted to go up it. And I think it's a fantastic tourist attraction because the views from the top of the bridge are absolutely fantastic. You can see for miles around and, well, I enjoyed it very much.
We took all the boards, the planking off the top of the boom and renewed it with open matting, Kennedy grating, new handrailing, a lot of the cables, a lot of the steel structure, what was rusted and old, so we had to cut all that out and renew it. And do the gondola, we took the gondola off and done a major refurbishment to the gondola. Had a lot of money spent on it, that was the first refurbishment. And then we all got laid off for about 2 or 3 months, and we understood Langs was taking the second phase on. So most of the guys who worked on the first phase applied for the second phase, and most of us got on the second phase. And with Langs, it was actually renewing the actual cables, the main span cables of the bridge. So that's what Langs done on the second phase, and that's what they done, yeah. And on the third phase then, of the bridge, before we opened, Structure Teesside won the first phase of shot blasting and painting the bridge and doing different things. And after the final thing in 1995, we actually reopened the bridge. We had a big firework display, and we had hundreds and hundreds of people turn up for the grand opening of the bridge. I think at one stage we had about 120 people get on the gondola, because obviously no one's been on the bridge for 10 years because it was shut for, like I said, 10 years. So there's a big excitement of people going back on the bridge after all them years of having the ride on the bridge and seeing it going again. Everyone was so proud and happy to see the bridge running again. So we done about 10 or 12 crossings with people going back and forth, clapping and cheering, and we had the Lord Mayor doing a speech and opening the bridge. And then we opened the bridge end for about 25 years, and now we're shutting again for another big refurbishment. What's really needed, thanks to the lottery and the Welsh government, and obviously Newport, of course, Newport Council have made a big part of raising the money for the bridge. So yeah, in 2020 now, at the end of September 2020 now, we got another phase. We're having a brand new visitor centre made, is what the bridge needs to bring people to the bridge, to actually have a look in the visitor centre, have a modern one. We can have classrooms there to bring children along, so they can have a classroom meeting in there and tell them about the bridge, and a cafeteria. So it sounds really great the way they're going to do the visitor centre over the other side of the river, the West Bank.
Yes, I belong to Paul and I both belong to a walking group, and we have thought of bringing the walking group to the bridge and going across it. It would be fantastic if there was some way, an elevator to get up to the top of the bridge for disabled people or people who've got, medical conditions that they can't climb up. So that would be fantastic if they could include that when they do the renovation of the bridge.
There's a couple of funny things that happened on the bridge, because I've been working here 25 years for the council. A few of the funny quick stories I can remember what always tickled me. Good old days, we used to do Monday to Friday on the working week. We used to do about 300 to 480 cars a day, and about at least 160 walkers and cyclists. That's what we were doing every day, back and forth, before they built the, I call it the Rainbow Bridge, just over by here. As soon as they built the Rainbow Bridge, it just went so quiet here, and it killed us, so we went to tourism. But let's go back to the funny old days. Right, tell a quick story. The boys who used to drive the bridge, the conductor and the driver, it was so funny. We had these regular people who would catch, like I said, the walkers coming on the bridge or on their bikes. They'd be about 20, 30, 40 foot away. They would down the road, and the boys then would go for the pin and pull a pin and start driving away. And they'd be screaming. No, we knew we weren't going to go far out. We'd come back because they're regulars. They were good to have a talk to and all that. So they'd be screaming and all that. Stop, 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 I'm coming, wait. And we used to just wave at them, and they used to do all the signs with their hands and being an effing at us. But we stopped the bridge and we always went back for them. That was one of my favourite things, is getting the odd joke to the odd person who wasn't expecting it, and it was so funny to watch them, the way they used to go. An incident where I never really forget, my old mate Billy Collar, who was on the bridge 27 years, and he was on the bridge 15 years before I started, and Billy was an icon of the bridge, where he'd tell you stories about the bridge, and it was so funny. But this one day I was working with Billy, and John McBridge was his name. He was a bridge superintendent, a big solid Irish man, big as a honey monster. He was going huge, his hands like that. Got us on the radio, said, I got a job for you two today. We got someone coming on the bridge who wants to chuck their ashes over the gondola as it goes back and forth, because he was an ex-docker over the docks. I want you two to do that for me. So I said, no problem, boss, we'll do that for you, a good job too. So it was one of these days where there's a bit of breeze coming up river. So we thought, right, if we go there and spread the ashes over that way, we should be okay, right? So Billy had it all in hand, being an ex-sailor, old Billy was, so he like the old sea dog, as I called him. So I give Billy the pleasure of chucking the ashes over the gate. So, okay, boys, we're ready to go. Ding the bell. Let's take the old girl over. So as we going over the bridge, we asked them if they wanted to spread the ashes. No, it's too emotional. We'd rather you do it and do a good job. Make sure he gets over the side. So Billy was proud of that. But the thing with Billy, he's only a short man. That's the only problem Billy had going against him. He's only about 4.5 foot tall, and the gates were like four foot. So when he had like 6 inches to get the ashes over, I always used to laugh at this part. So he had the ashes, and he said, let's go for it. He chucks them over the ashes, and next thing you knew, they all went back over Billy. He was white with ashes, and I was on my back laughing my head off. And Billy was white as a ghost, and he said, something's gone wrong. I said, Billy, you've got the ashes all over you, my old mate. And I tell him what, the people laughed at it. I thought they were going to be upset at it, but they were so laughing at the thing going wrong, but they were happy because he didn't want to leave the bridge. He wanted to stay on the bridge with Billy. So yeah, we had good old days, me and Bill, and I sadly miss John and Billy, but you move on, and there's many more stories I can tell you, but they were the quick short ones what come to my head, and there's many more.